Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another review. This time around, I'm going to be doing a review for Scream Season 2. This is going to be all of season 2. And yeah, I've already done a review for every single episode in season 2. I kind of bunched up the last, like, episodes 9 through 11, I believe, or some shit like that, or 7 through 11. I bunched up those episodes because I just didn't have time to review them individually. But aside from that, every other episode should have its own episode review. And yeah, I just posted, depends when I post this video, but I just posted the episode review for episode 12 either just a couple minutes ago to maybe yesterday, depending on when I post this video. So yeah. So before I begin though, the episodes in season 2, just to go over them. Episode 1, I Know What You Did Last Summer. By the way, they're all named after horror movies, which I think is pretty cool, and I hope they kind of continue the trend for season 3. So I Know What You Did Last Summer is number 1. Episode 2 is Psycho. Episode 3 is Vacancy. Episode 4 is Happy Birthday to Me. Episode 5 is Dawn of the Dead. Episode 6 is Jeepers Creepers. Episode 7 is Let the Right One In. Episode 8 is Village of the Damned. Episode 9 is The Orphanage. Episode 10 is The Vanishing. Episode 11 is Heavenly Creatures, and episode 12 is When a Stranger Calls. I just realized I probably should have done that like in sign language, because I'm learning sign language right now. Maybe at another point in this video, who knows. I need to practice on my sign language. Fuck it. I'm not gonna do it right now. So yeah, those are all the episodes. If you have yet to watch all the episodes, or if you haven't watched a few of the episodes, or whatever the case is, if you have yet to actually finish watching all of season 2, stop the video, go check all of season 2 out, and then come back and watch the rest of this review. 10-second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up. So for those who have yet to actually watch all of season 2 of Scream and haven't already, please don't comment down below or be messaging me that I never give you a fair warning, because as usual, I did. So as usual, quick synopsis, quick-ish, because this is a season review. Quick synopsis, and likes and dislikes, and then the rate, overall rate. Sorry if I'm scratching my nose. I just have a weird itch right there. I'm not picking it. Trust me. I have like a weird itch somewhere. Like, I hope it's not a rash. Because if I live where I live, I'm not going to say where I live right now, but if I'm getting a rash and then other symptoms, I'm going to be completely fucked. Yeah. So basically, the season starts off, I'm just going to go over some of the major plot points. Season starts off with Jake's death, basically towards the end of episode 1. And, you know, Jake's death, you also have, okay, action order. Emma comes back from her psychiatric ward trip, because she was suffering from PTSD. She suffers through PTSD throughout the whole season, which is one of the major concepts of this season, which I really do like how they kind of used the aspects of PTSD, I suppose. So yeah. But yeah, she basically comes back, and then there's a new killer on the loose. The killer kills Jake. Bam. Episode 2, Emma goes to this barn where I guess she spent most of her childhood. Her and Audrey, we find that out later in the season. Emma eventually turns to one of her teachers, Miss Lang, to help with her hallucinations about Piper, because she is hallucinating about Piper. And Noah finds a possible lead as to who Piper's accomplice is. Come to find out that Piper's accomplice is Audrey. So yeah, Audrey then finds Jake's body, and since she is the accomplice, she gets scared, and she is being blackmailed by the killer at this point. Emma's father returns. I believe it's in this episode. Emma's father returns for this in the next episode. So basically, being like, hey, what's up? I heard you're kind of going through PTSD. Any way I can help? Type of situation. So there's that. A random guy gets killed. A hotel manager gets killed who has information on Audrey possibly being the killer. Audrey being the acquaintance, apprentice, partner, accomplice, shit, to Piper, and then the killer, which we'll find out later in this season. So yeah, you basically have some stuff with the dad. There you also have Eli, which is a new character. He's kind of hanging out. Eli is Kieran's cousin, and he's kind of hanging out with Emma, maybe getting a little bit close. They do set up a birthday party for him eventually, because Kieran's birthday is around this time. Come to find out that that whoever one of them they got this drink like a champagne. They gave it to everybody, and everybody in the party got fucking stoned as shit. Basically, yeah. Next up, you have Jake's body. Um, what is it? Oh, okay. And at the end of wow, that came out wrong. At the end of episode 4, you have this like beauty pageant that occurs. Brooke is the winner or one of the winners. I don't get beauty pageants. And I guess when they're putting down the curtains, Jake's dead body just kind of flows in the middle of the theater, which is fucking hilarious in my opinion. And yeah, and then the next episode, probably one of the best episodes in the show in my opinion, just because I like how it is, because it's so claustrophobic. But the school is shut down completely. All the students are there. You have this new kid called Gustav, who eventually does hook up with Brooke. But you have this new kid called Gustav. We've seen him towards the beginning of the season. And he basically is accused of being the killer, possibly being the killer, because he draws these weird as fuck pictures of people just bleeding to death. And Audrey kind of accuses him of being the killer. Turns out that this Gustav kid is the sheriff's son, just like Kieran in last season. You also have this girl Zoe, who kind of hooks up with Noah at this point. Killer tries to attack Emma for like the 3rd time at this point, and really great. Emma and Noah, then episode 6, Emma and Noah investigate an amusement park, and Noah and Audrey are kidnapped. Audrey confesses to Noah that she's the acquaintance to an extent to Piper. She was the acquaintance to Piper. At this point, Kieran kind of pops out randomly, saves all 3 of them, and yeah, bye. And Brooke, this is more or less when Brooke and Gustavo kind of start their relationship. And yeah, basically after episode 7, basically all shit goes loose. Everybody gets attacked straight up. Emma and Kieran are talking. What is it? Emma and Kieran are talking to the police about Eli and his situation. They were at this abandoned house. I believe it was in the last episode as well, or a couple episodes ago, or something like that. And they kind of investigate Eli. They say Eli has a bit of history. Audrey gets some texts from the killer. And I believe at this point, I want to say Branson died, I believe, around this point as well. Also around this point, you have, I believe it's at this point, you also have Emma, who finds out that Audrey is the killer. So, or not the killer, fuck, the acquaintance, partner, whatever, to Piper, and she's the reason why she was even there to begin with. And yeah, you also have some trouble with Kieran at this funhouse at the amusement park as well. Okay, this trouble. Okay, stuff with Audrey, now that I think of it, happens like in episode 10. We're in episode 8 right now. But yeah, you have the stuff with Kieran is kidnapped. You know what that means. Kieran is kidnapped by the killer. And he's basically now at this point he looks like he is the killer, which who knows? Yeah, because they're in this funhouse. Apparently, the killer puts his clothes on Kieran, and the killer escapes, and Kieran now comes out, looks like the killer and shit. So yeah, and they kind of get off scot-free. Haley, this kind of bitch, kind of just gets pissed off, and she gets killed off in the next episode. Basically, point of the orphanage, which is episode 9. And there's this huge party at Piper's old school. And Miss Lang, Piper and Miss Lang have some form of association. So yeah, and they both went to the same school. There's this huge party at their old school, and it's made by Haley and the killer. Haley is this kind of bitch girl who kind of popped up at the beginning of the season, as she is stabbed to death here. But we do get an important clue about the killer in this episode, and that is the fact that he is a guy. Which is the best thing we could find know about the episode at this, or about the killer at this point. And again, I believe, I believe this is more or less where Audrey finds out, Emma finds out that Audrey is the associate to the killer. Emma's pissed off about Audrey and Piper and stuff, and Audrey does try to give her side of the story, but all of a sudden Zoe and Noah are kidnapped, the 2 lovers. One thing, if you want to survive, don't hook up with Noah, okay? His 2 girlfriends fucking died in like the past 2 seasons, so there's a tip. But yeah, Noah and his girlfriend Zoe are kidnapped. They are buried 6 feet under. Noah is under a farm, and Zoe is by the river, and Noah survives. He has some pretty trippy ass hallucinations. but he survives, and Zoe does not survive. She is drowned because the coffin has water leakage and all that shit, so she dies. At this point, Noah kind of was like, fuck the morgue, my podcast, I don't want to do it anymore. And this is more or less when Emma finds a clue as to who possibly the killer is, possibly it being Eli, because he is one weird motherfucker. And yeah, and then this just leads to some possible evidence showing that Eli may be the killer. And episode 12, everybody's ganged up at the major theater trade after Audrey and Emma have been falsely accused of killing Maddox, because at this point Maddox is dead. After they were falsely accused of killing Maddox, Mayor Maddox, not Brooke, but after being falsely accused of killing Mayor Maddox, the killer kind of rescues them from the police and says, hey, get the fuck out of here, because I'm going to chase you later on. And yeah, if you turn yourselves in, you're dead. If you turn anybody, you're dead. Eventually everybody, Emma, Brooke, Audrey, Kieran, Noah, they kind of I guess they kind of huddle up in the theater and come to find out that Audrey has gone missing. The killer stabbed Brooke, and now Emma has to find the killer. Killer turns out to be Kieran. Eli dies in the process trying to save Emma, and at the very end, while Kieran is in jail, he gets a phone call from the killer saying, hey, who the fuck gave you the right to wear my mask? And everybody suspects it's Brandon James. And that is season 2. I'm pretty sure I feel like I left some things out. Like, there were a few things with Gustavo and Eli that kind of happened in Zoe, but those are the major plot points. Maggie, a few things with her and the sheriff, with them being friends with Brandon James, which we kind of knew already from season 1. We just get more expansion on that. But aside from that, that's basically all of season 2. So yeah, overall, I actually did enjoy. I feel. I enjoyed all of season 2. Now, did I enjoy it as much as season 1? That's my one question. Because here's the one thing with just Scream in general, like at least the TV show. I don't because I really like the movie. Actually, no. Here's a problem with just the Scream franchise, in my opinion. Actually, screw that. Here's a problem with the Scream franchise, and again, it's my opinion. It's forgettable, straight up. It's just kind of forgettable, in my opinion. Like, if you see my review for season 1, first off, I don't know how okay, granted, I did do season 1 way after the fact. I think like a month or 2 before season 2 even came out. But I did rewatch all of it. I think I rewatched the most of it, or like just watched some of the major scenes, if you know what I mean, of season 1. And I was just forgetting like a few things. Like, I forgot who Noah was. Like, I think that was in that episode. Or in that video, because there's 2 videos that I almost back to back. Because there was also the trailer for season 2, and I think I may have forgotten his name in that video too. But yeah, I mean, that's the major issue. Like, I don't remember like I do like the characters, and just the story is a bit generic, and thus the characters are a bit generic, and thus it is a bit hard to remember some of the plot details. Yeah, like, straight up, I don't remember anybody from the first, Scream. Granted, I've only ever seen the first Scream movie, but I don't remember any of the characters from the first Scream movie, okay? I mean, I know, the most I know is that Neve Campbell was in that movie, were in those movies, in the first movie at the very least, and Drew Barrymore, I think, was in the first scene, and she was killed. I think that was Drew Barrymore, but, yeah, aside from that, I can't really recall. Like, yeah, it was a good movie, but it's one of those times, like, a time waster. It's a pretty good horror movie, sure, but it's pretty forgettable. And I feel like the TV series as a whole kind of follows that format, which is good when you're watching it. It is good, and maybe you have it in your mind for about a week or 2, but after that, it's kind of forgettable. And I feel like that's my major issue. Now, another issue I have is just the reveal of who the killer is. Many people were saying Kieran. And granted, when I did my list as to who possibly could be the killer, I did say, okay, yeah, I could buy the fact that Kieran was the killer. Now, I liked the build-up to the reveal, and I liked the aftermath to the reveal. But the reveal itself, I just have a hate-love relationship with it. Because sometimes I watch it and I feel like that's just sloppy writing. It makes no sense that Emma would remember that. It's just dumb. And yeah, but then, like, let's say that's on a Monday. But then the next day, on a Tuesday, I'll be like, oh, that's brilliant. That makes a lot of sense. So I just have the most bipolar effect on that. So, yeah, I mean, the review is the one thing that, like, not just that episode, like, just the season that kind of just bugs me. Everything else is pretty good. It's just what you expect. It is pretty cheesy. The deaths are gory, as expected. Sorry. I thought I saw something. Sorry. Like the deaths are pretty gory, which is something I'm really impressed at. The fact that the deaths are as gory as they are in for this show. I thought they would have been a bit watered down, in my opinion. So yeah, and that's something that's always impressed me since season 1. So yeah, I mean, overall, I like the show as a whole. It is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like it is a bit forgettable. Like if you ask me about Scream like a month from now, I'll be like, yeah, it was pretty good. But I've seen like say a major plot point that's not the reveal. You got me there, because like here, major plot point from season 1 that's not the reveal. Piper's the killer. That's it. That's all I can remember. I mean, aside from the deaths and who the killer is, tell me to name another major plot point aside from that. I mean, okay, there's stuff with Branson, but that's not really major plot points when you think about it. So, kind of the same thing. Like ask me about a month from now, even a few weeks from now, name a major plot point that's not a death and not the reveal. What will you get? I mean, here's the thing. I will say, like, major plot point wise, I do feel like season 2 has a bit more going for it. So maybe I will remember a bit more from season 2. So yeah, but that's just my one problem with the series as a whole. It is a tad bit forgettable. It's just a franchise as a whole. It is a bit tad forgettable. So yeah, I mean, yeah, season 1 there's the stuff with Branson and him having indirectly killed a girl. But aside from that, season 2, as killers aside, right now, like Kieran had a gun in his locker. Fuck, even here I'm like lagging. Again, I think that's the problem with the show. Like the major plot points are the deaths and the reveal. Aside from that, you know, if it's not a death or it's not a reveal, it's not really that memorable. I mean, sure, Kieran had a gun, but that's a minor plot point. Kieran being in the funhouse as a killer, even though he wasn't. Sure, I guess maybe, but you know, whatever. Yeah. I mean, okay, there was Brooke's speech during the beauty pageant, which actually made a lot of sense for its time. But yeah, even like right now, it's kind of hard. Okay, there was a reveal that Audrey was the associate to Piper. So yeah, but I guess that kind of falls into the killer territory. So, eh. Overall though, I still like the season. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. I gave the same thing as season 1, so yeah, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. I gave the same rating to season 1, and even though I feel like season 2 is a bit better than season 1, I don't feel it's by that much, so I'll still give it an 8.5 out of 10. And yeah, that's basically it for now. Subscribe, comment down below, like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.